Welcome back to another quick little tutorial. Today what we're going to be focusing on is on drawings. So let me start by clicking on this button, and that's going to take us to this brand new sheet, which is for, typically we use this for our multi-view drawings, except that we have been working with this sheet and it's been way too large for what we need. So what we're going to do over here is notice it has a sheet that's open. I'm going to go ahead and go delete that sheet. Yes, just delete it. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open this folder, this file folder that you see here, and notice I'm going to click on the small little arrow on the side which contains all sorts of different sizes. Well, the one that we're going to be using is size A landscape. Click there and we want to create a brand new sheet. We're going to OK it, and then we end up with the sheet that we're actually able to read for once. And so we also have this title block, which seems a little large for the sheet that we have. So we're going to go open the sheet, which is sheet number 2. We're going to click on this. This is technically our title block, and we're going to go delete it. It is large and we don't want it large, so we're going to go delete. There it is. It's gone. So now we're going to see here, notice there's also little file folders, which we're going to open up. The one that we really need is the title block. So click on title block, go to ANSI A. That's the right size. And again, just know that we are going to be learning about ANSI, A-N-S-I, pretty soon. So stay tuned for another tutorial on that. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go click Insert, and then it puts a more reasonably sized title block. So the next part of this, we're going to go place a view, and this is where you're going to start noticing a slight difference between the previous sheet that we were using versus the one we're using now. So I'm going to just place views for now, and then I'll adjust them. There's my views, my 4 main views. I'm going to go drag these into place because I don't want them intersecting my title block. I want to be able to see all of it, so I'm going to drag these down. I'm also going to go drag this one down. Okay, so for those of you who have been still struggling a little bit with how to dimension, now let's take a look at dimensioning one more time. And for those of you who are pros, you could definitely fast forward to this. Or fast forward this. But anyway, so here we go. I'm going to dimension. The first thing that we need to remember is that we're dimensioning the heights first. And we always dimension on the front view. So another thing you have to remember is that we dimension from the ground up on the front view. In essence, we're dimensioning heights. So we're going to go click on the first height, which is 1 inch, and the second height, which happens to be 2 inches. And there you have it. Oh, look, you could actually see the measurements now. The next thing that we need to focus on measuring is the length of this object. Notice we have varying lengths, and we also dimension from left to right. And let me explain to you why. So this has been our customary rule that we have been using. And I'll explain to you as soon as I finish putting all of these measurements going across the shape. So let's quickly talk about why. All right, so one of the things that we have to do in terms of designing parts and dimensioning parts, we have to determine where is our point of reference. And so our point of reference, and I am going to go quickly get my sketch pad here, and my point of reference is this point right here at this corner. This one right here. That's my point of reference that I am going to be using for all my dimensions. So that point of reference allows me to make sure that I begin all of my measurements in terms of the vertical measurements or heights. I have to start from the ground up because that point was on the bottom, therefore I have to start on the ground up. And then since that point was here on the left side, then all of my measurements have to start on the left side. Okay, so that's very important to remember. That's called a datum dimensioning. You will be seeing that on the final exam, so please make sure that you remember that. Jot down some notes if you need to in your engineering notebook. The next part, okay, so far we have 2 types of dimensions. We have the heights and we have the lengths going across. We also have to remember that we have depth into this shape. Notice there's a depth of 1 and also a depth of 2. Well, we dimension depth in 2 places. Well, there's 2 places where we could dimension it, but we only dimension it 1 place. So on the top view, you could actually see the depth of the object here and here. Or you could see it here and over here on the front view, which is this piece, which represents a depth of 1, and then the combined total has a depth of 2. So what I'm going to go is I'm going to go back to annotate. Notice I went to sketch to kind of show the datum there. But I'm going to go back to annotate, and under annotate, I'm going to go back to selected dimensions, and I'm going to dimension my first depth, which happens to be a depth of 1, and then I'm going to go back and dimension a depth of 2. And there's my depth of 2. And so now everything's perfectly aligned. Notice the numbers are very visible now. The only thing is that I made one tiny mistake, and let me tell you where. Here we go. Now, I did it on purpose so that you could see it. Let's take a look. All right. So notice how this dimension here is actually 1/16 away from your part. This dimension is not, because notice I clicked on the inside. When we're dimensioning, we have to make sure that we actually click on the exact location, because if we don't create that 1/16 gap, and we need that there. And again, the same thing is true of the top right here in this intersection. Notice it doesn't leave the 1/16, so we don't want people to accidentally get that confused. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back, and notice that's a really typical mistake when you're first starting this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go delete that. Oh, it's wanting to delete my view. Let me go cancel that. Okay, so we're going to go delete the measurement, not the view. There we go. All right, so we're going to go delete the measurement, and again, not the view. And we're going to try that again. So notice I'm going to dimension from this corner to this corner. And now you should see that it's dimensioned correctly, because notice it has that 1/16 distance. Same thing here. We go dimension from the corner to corner, and then we have the height. Perfect. All right, we need one last detail. And let me go back. There we go. Okay, so although we're almost done, we're not quite done yet. Come on, little hand. All right, so we're not quite done yet, because notice we still have to fill out the title block, and we still have to shade this this figure. And again, let me escape, because I was in dimensioning mode. So I'm going to escape that. I'm going to go edit that view, and I'm going to go shade it. So, and then I'm going to, there it is. So now all I have to do is fill out my title block. And again, hopefully all of you remember that you go to your text and you create a text box in here, and you should be able to label it. So this is going to be called block 1. Okay, and then guess what? We need to make sure that we are using capitals. So let me go delete that. And I'm going to use capital letters, block 1. Perfect. All right, so you have to remember that every time that you fill out the title block is always going to be in capital letters. Same thing true when you're putting your name. So I'm going to put my complete name here all in caps. There you have it. So don't forget, title blocks are always in caps. Isometric pictures are always shaded. And then we always measure the heights, the lengths, and the depths. Okay, and again, you only need to dimension it one time, because notice across, because these are perfectly aligned, this measurement of 1 inch will carry across this way. The 1 inch here will carry across this way. And the 1 inch here, believe it or not, will carry in a 45-degree angle, well, technically 90-degree turn. It will carry across over here. We also call it a 45-degree angle, but as you can see, I'm creating a 90-degree turn there. And we have a 1 inch here, and then this length from here to here will carry across to here and to here. All right, well, very good luck to you, and stay tuned for my next video, and if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them for you. Okay, have a great day.